Hey, everybody, you are watching and listening to the We Are Rising podcast. This is your host, Andrew Benjamin, and I'm joined by a very special guest today. With us, we have Tanner Louernco, who will be taking on Shinya Kumazawa at Rising 32, November 20th at the Okinawa Arena in Okinawa. Lourenco will be making his MMA debut in this matchup. And Tanner, thank you so much for talking to us. It's interesting to talk to somebody who's making their debut, especially for Rising.
Thanks. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So listen, yeah, I gotta ask, tell us your story. Who are you and how did you wind up getting booked for Rise 32?
Um, well, my name's Tanner Louernco, as you already know. 25. I was first got into martial arts around like 12, and I was just training jujitsu at the park with my buddies who already trained. They would like learn cool shit and then show me, like practicing Kimuras from guard on the grass, stuff like that. All no-gi, obviously, because the kids' moms wouldn't let them get their gis dirty on the grass. And then I wanted to join a gym that opened up across the street, my professor's gym, when I got to be 14 when I was in 8th grade. And my parents wouldn't let me. So they thought it was dangerous. I needed new grade, get better grades, whatever, they just didn't want me to go. So I had a few buddies that had like boxing gloves and they would just like beat the shit out of each other in the garage. So I would do that to try to like feel like I was learning something. But in reality, you're just learning how to get hit in the head. And then I joined high school wrestling because my buddy joined Babalu's gym. And he's like, hey, if you can't do jiu-jitsu, do wrestling. It's like the closest thing, to it. I was like, all right. So I couldn't play soccer and I wanted to play on the soccer team, which was like a blessing in disguise because I wasn't really that good. So I tried out for the wrestling team instead because they were on the same season. So it was like one or the other. And then a year and a half in, I started training at Babalu's gym when I was 15 and a half, roughly. At the time there, he was still fighting for the Strike Force and 1FC. So he was in and out. But one of the coaches that were solid, one of the Muay Thai coaches left, opened up his gym. They're doing pretty successful now down in Costa Mesa. And then one of the jiu-jitsu coaches left to go to ATT to fight for the UFC right now. And he's doing decent. I think he fights Dominic Cruz in like 2 or 3 weeks. So there's always been like good training in and out that gym, regardless of Professor Babalu was there or not. And yeah, I was in and out of the gym for 8 or so years. You start training, and then I went to college, stopped a little bit to, focus on college. And while I was there, I stopped training at that gym, but I was on the wrestling team, so I still got my mat time in. It was just a little different. Wasn't more combat oriented. I guess it was more for sport. But if you guys, train with college wrestlers, they're fucking savages, regardless if you're getting hit in the face or not. Just relentlessly getting thrown around. Then I came back, started training again, quit my job, got a new job, focused on that, stopped for a little bit, came back, serious relationship, stopped training again. And, it was just on and off. It wasn't like I was in and out of that gym day in, day out for 8 years. It's a very choppy relationship, but I always found my way back, and if I wasn't training there, I'd get the work somewhere else, if it's in a garage or a buddy's house that I trained, or a different gym that my buddy trained at that invited me in, anywhere with a mat, or, just a floor. And then COVID came. So most recently in the timeline, I guess, I quit my job to coach at Babalu's, and things were going well, coach in the morning, train, go to the beach, come back, train, sleep, do it all over again the next day. Except it was like off schedule. So if I was coaching Monday morning, I would train Tuesday morning. So I only taught like Mondays and Wednesdays. So it was super chill. And then COVID came, fucked it all up. Gym had to shut down. Everyone was like persecuting you for training during COVID restrictions, and the mandate got like really crazy. No one really knew what was going on, and the public hysteria was like out of control. So I don't want to live off welfare. I joined the Marine Corps, got sent to Japan, started training again out here, and found some really good coaches. They, keep me on my toes. And then I got an offer to fight for Rizin, and I took it because, that's what I've been training for. I never really took a fight back home because I like teaching. I was satisfied with teaching, but out here I can't really do that. So I'm gonna see if fighting will fill the void that teaching filled for me back home. I can't hear you.
Sorry, I had my mic muted. Just want to say, as an active service member, thank you for your service, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
So were you surprised when Rizin reached out and was like, "Hey, you want to fight for us? You don't have a record or anything, MMA record. You're training and where you are, but like there's usually how it goes in Japan is, or like anywhere for MMA, do the amateurs, or, you excel at like jiu-jitsu or another sport, then you go to a mid-tier promotion. But with you, they're already asking you to fight on one of their numbered shows, one of their big shows. Were you just surprised that, like, of all people, that they came to you?
So at first, no, because I didn't really know about Rizin. I wasn't really big into the Japanese martial arts scene. Back in the day, I watched a lot of Pride. That was like actually the first MMA organization I ever watched. So I have a lot of heroes that fought for Pride. I think the first fight I ever saw, it was like Shogun. I forgot who was fighting, but I just saw him jump in the air for like a vertical stomp. I fucking blew my mind. I was like, what the fuck is this? This is some crazy shit. And then everyone's wearing like the Vale Tudo shorts, fucking jacked. It was nuts. It was entertaining to say the least. And with Rizin, I didn't know about Rizin until I got here. Well, until my coaches and training partners were like, "Oh, you're on the Rizin card. Like, look into it." Blah blah. I was like, "What's Rizin?" They're like, "That's the biggest MMA organization in Japan." I was like, "What the fuck?" It's like, "Oh shit!" Like, I thought there's just another pro fight. But yeah. So as I researched them and got into the rules, so I see a lot of similar rules to like Pride FC, and I'm like, "Oh shit! It's like a fucking dream come true." So yeah, I'm shocked. I'm honored, honestly. Like, do I think there's other people that probably deserve it better than me? Yeah, but do I think I deserve it? Of course. Like, I've been putting the work in. I don't see why. Yeah, you should have a record to, I guess, be competitive in the sport. But if you're putting the work in, you're putting the work in. A lot of people's records don't even correlate to their current status anyways. So if I can get in there, then I'm gonna get in there. They afforded me the opportunity, knocked on my door, and I'm accepting it with open arms. Like since I got on Island, I was looking for a fight. They reached out to me. Well, they reached out to one of my coaches who reached out to me, and yeah, there's nothing I can't be more grateful. So I just want to get in there, put on a good show for all the fans.
So what's it? Oh, sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's end of that.
I was gonna say, yeah, let's talk about your fight against Shinya Kumazawa. Have you researched him? Have you looked at any of his fights? Do you have any impression of him as an opponent?
So at first, I wanted to do the whole research thing. But right now, I'm just leaving it up to the coaches. I did see one fight, and he came in like he was a striker. And then when I was telling my buddy that I got a fight for Rizin, he researched Shinya and like sent me a Dog record. And he was like, first he was like tripping out. He's like, dude, who the fuck gave you this fight? He has 16 fights. Why you better be training hard as fuck. And then I felt kind of insulted. I was like, dude, I'm training hard as fuck. What do you think this is? I'm not fucking stupid. I've been doing this shit for like almost 10 years. Like I know how hard you need to be training if you want to like be serious in this sport. But yeah, I saw that all his wins were from submissions. And I was like, okay, you can't really claim to be a striker if you're only winning from submissions. Technically you'd be a grappler, right? So then I got a little bit confused. I'm like, I'm not going to prepare for something and then get shown a different game plan. So now I'm just trying to polish every tool in my arsenal just so I can be ready for everything he can possibly throw at me. I don't want to just train grappling for like the remainder of the time until the fight, and then he just outstrikes me, or train striking and then he just take me down. My cardio won't be the same. So I'm just gonna train both equally and be, as prepared as possible.
Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts? Yeah, the fight's in about about 2 weeks from now. Are you nervous? Are you is there butterflies in your stomach? Like what is your general feeling right now? I mean, once you go in that ring, it's entirely different, but what is your current feeling right now? Current mindset?
So the butterflies haven't hit yet. Those will usually come like 2 or 3 days before weigh-ins. For me specifically, currently, I'm a little nervous. I always get nervous the closer it gets. I wasn't nervous when I got the fight. I was excited. Hell yeah, I finally, get to go in, put on a show for my buddies to come watch. Because I like to fight. I mean, I don't like getting hit, but I like the adrenaline rush, the excitement. But yeah, getting hit now, that shit pisses me off. But yeah, I was excited. Now the nerves are starting to hit. I'm always wondering like if I'm doing enough. It's hard for me to like trying to find a break for practice. Like, okay, it's enough. Save myself for today and just put out more tomorrow, or I'll stay up a little later at night now. Like, damn, I probably could have put in a little more because I can't even sleep right now. So what good is it me just laying down in bed? So right now it's just a lot of questioning myself in regards to if I'm training as hard as I could be. And that's a big thing for me. I don't like to second guess myself. I feel like if I'm gonna win, I need to be 100% committed that I did everything I could to finish. So I don't want the fight going to decision. I think it's not going to be a good look since I'm a foreigner in their country. It needs to be finished submission or TKO, KO.
So with this fight, so you're saying TKO? Are you do you see this fight going the ideal way to win would be for you for a knockout or TKO type win, not grappling and then getting a submission?
So ideally, I'm convinced that if the fight goes to the floor, I will win. But that's in a purely jiu-jitsu standpoint. So, like, parts of my game that I would do in the mat won't be able to work in the ring, especially if they're allowing knee strikes to the head.
It is like Pride.
6 to 12.
It is exactly like Pride. You can get soccer kick. You try to go for a heel hook. You can get soccer kick in the face.
I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about the soccer kicks. I'm actually, if I can get 1 or 2 in, that would be fucking like a kid in a candy store.
Bucket list. Like, bucket list as a Pride
fan. Exactly. Bucket list for sure. Now my thing is, like, I try to play half guard or like a deep half, and I see a fucking knee coming in my nose, then you know I'm not gonna want to do that. So I'm solid on the floor. I think I would dominate. But with that being said, I like throwing hands. I like standing. I'm not one of those guys that will like come out the gate, fake a jab, and shoot a double leg. No, if I can win standing up, I'm gonna stand with him. But if he starts fucking me up on the feet, I'm gonna take him down, because obviously one thing doesn't work. Try something else. And then if I take him down and he's fucking me up, taking down, I'm gonna stand back up and try something new and just keep giving him different looks until I get the result that I want. But yeah, no, I'm not going to be a one-dimensional fighter and just strike or just grapple. Like, it's MMA for a reason. If I wanted to just grapple him, I would have done a jiu-jitsu tournament that's coming up. If I wanted to just strike him, I would have took a kickboxing fight.
I'm curious to know, are the coaches at your gym, are they Japanese or they speak English? I'm curious to know.
So I have an American and I have a well, he's Brazilian, but he's living out here for the moment. But he speaks Japanese.
Okay, because I'm curious, because if your head coach is Japanese and he's in your corner, I wonder, would you then need a translator to like your coach to get translated to get your stuff? And that fascinates me. If I don't know if that's the case with your camp, that it might need a translator for if your Japanese coach is, or if your Brazilian coach is in your corner, that they might need a translator.
Like, are you asking if he like coaches?
I'm just like I'm curious of that dynamic, because obviously most coaches whatever the fighters they speak the same language, but if he's got a like, I don't know, do you see that as I don't know, possible disadvantage if that potentially, I don't know, like it could be when you're trying to get advice from the coach, but you have to wait. You have to wait for it to be translated. You understand? Does that make sense? Yeah.
So I never really thought of that actually, but shit, man, if we have time these next 2 weeks, I'll take orders in Portuguese and throw them off their game, because I'm sure they have someone who speaks English, like preparing for me to have orders in English, as well as I hope my coach can tell me what they're trying to do in Japanese, because he speaks 3 languages, so might as well use it to help his fighter if he could, if possible.
I know there have been rare cases where, like, there's an American, he's living in Japan or whatever, and he trains at some gym, but then he's only he doesn't know any Japanese, and then they have to hire a translator for the camp to translate what the Japanese coach is telling, is trying to get across. That's happened like a few cases. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I just remember like seeing some fights were like, oh my God. So they actually, because when they would do in between rounds, you'd see the translator would be telling the fighter when he's sitting down, like what the coach is saying. And I just thought like, wow, like if that creates just like a disadvantage, just because, you need every second in that fight. Like that brief second of, duck that punch or go for the body can make all the difference in a fight. And I was just wondering if that was something that would possibly be a hindrance or be involved with your camp, considering what you told me about your coaches.
No, they both speak English.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
We're relatively on the same page too. So I'm doing A and they want me to do Z. If I'm not doing A, I'm doing C, and they want me to go back to A or do B or D. So it shouldn't be too crazy. But I like the idea of getting coached in another language so they can't understand me.
Oh yes, that's true. That's true. So with this fight, after this fight, it goes your way, you win. Do you want to fight again in Rizin? Is fighting MMA something that you see potentially being something that you can do as a future career, or what's your whole future prospects about this after this fight?
Maybe not as a career, but I definitely, would like to rack up 10 wins. Hopefully I can get 5 W's before I leave Island. If I win, I want to fight again. I just don't know when. I was talking to one of my buddies who's a nutritionist / CrossFit coach. And after this fight, I want to run like some mock weight cuts and find a specific nutrition program that correlates to my genetics. So that's going to take me, the first one will take 3 months over the course of like a year and a half. So we'll probably run like 4. And I don't know if I can get a fight like after one of those cuts, I wouldn't mind it. But yeah, I want to fight again. Just I don't know when.
So actually, this fight is gonna be at 163 pounds, I believe, around 160-ish, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it's like 162.6, something like that.
Is that your walk around weight, or was this like a fight that Rizin proposed?
So originally it was going to be at, well, the texts that I have, I think it was going to be at 65, and then it got dropped down to 60, and then they do everything in kilos, so it was like 75 kilos, and then to 73 kilos, and then they're finally like 74 kilos. I was like, okay, that's fine. So I was prepared to make 160, but no. So I got offered it. I was walking around at 183 and a half, but my diet was shit. Well, not shit. I ate what I was supposed to eat, and then just a bunch of extra stuff. So I was having big portions. I was drinking a lot, and then just eating throughout the day. Like I'd have my 3 square meals, and then people would bring food to work. I'd have that too, some extra snacks. All I did was just tighten up the diet. It's not like a crazy weight cut I had to do back in wrestling where I'm constantly putting the bags on and 7 layers of sweats for 2
spitting in
weeks.
Spitting in the bottle,
the water bottle, yeah,
chewing the candy or whatever
in your mouth, yeah, all that shit. No, so it's not like that. I just cleaned up my diet. Eventually, if I start taking fights at like 55, then I'll get a little more serious once I put on more muscle mass and take like a solid strength and conditioning routine to heart out here. But right now I'm just getting with the motions, trying to make sure everything is moving the way it's supposed to, not breaking down. So the weight cut's easy, but eventually I'm gonna try to get more scientific and strategic with it.
It is interesting that you mentioned 65, because actually that is probably Rizin's strongest fight division now, is the 145 65 kilo division. And if you were a part of that, you'd be like, that is if there's any division that I'd say that's hot in Rizin, it's that division. I don't know. Have you watched any of the fights that Rizin's put on after you got the fight, and kind of just to see like who's who and who might be a future opponent, if they call you back or anything like that?
I saw like one other one for this weight class, but not at 45.
Okay.
I'm just at this moment. I mean, eventually after the fight, I'm gonna dive into the organization a little bit and try to get to know the organization as a whole a little bit more. But right now, I'm just focused on training. If I'm not training, I'm thinking about training. If I'm not thinking about training, I'm sleeping or eating. So I don't want to use any, watch anyone else's film and get in my head a little more, see what they're doing. I just want to see what I'm doing and what I can be doing better or what I'm doing bad. So
I'm curious to know as well. I don't know if you told family or friends that are back here in the USA about the fight, but if you did, I'm curious to know what was their reaction.
So a few of them, I told a few of them, but they were excited. They were like, "Oh shit, like you're fucking with me," and I'm like, "No, like," because they looked it up and they saw my name, and then like the blank like caricature, the shadow of where my picture would be, and they're like, "Oh, it's just some fucking guy with your name. Like, you don't have a fight." I'm like, "All right, I told you guys, what more can I do? I'm not gonna make you believe me." And then another one pulled this flyer off the internet and sent it in the group chat, and they're like, "Oh, what the fuck?" They started tripping out. One of my buddies, so I used to play like futsal, indoor soccer with all these guys. And one of them like read up on the rules and he's like, "Oh, dude, give him the fucking good old indoor special to the face." I was like this has the fucking soccer kick. I was like, actually, if I could do that shit, that'd be kind of cool. And then that's when I read the rules. I was like, "Oh fuck, that would be sick." So and then my other buddy was like, "Oh, you're fighting Shinya? Yeah, kick him with your shin." Yeah, I was like, "What the fuck is this, dude?" So they're like having fun with it and being stupid. But my buddy's at the gym, so I told one of my training partners at Babalu's, his little brother was in that group chat, and he told him, and he was stoked. So he doesn't want to tell anyone at the gym. He wants me to tell them. I was just waiting to get like cleared for medical and all the red tape. But he's stoked. They're gonna have like a little watch party and shit, and do like a little gathering because I spent a lot of time there. Like I damn near live there. Like that's home. So everyone, I still have good relationships with all the people that I trained with there and whose kids I helped coach and whatnot. So it's haven't got any negative reactions yet.
Nobody, I don't know, mom or any family member said like, "No, you shouldn't do this. You're gonna get hurt. This is gonna,"
They don't care. They know. They know if I put my mind to something, I'm gonna do it. Like, damn, I enlisted and didn't tell them I was leaving 2 days until my ship date. So they're pretty aware if I'm gonna do something, it's gonna get done. Like
Gotcha.
they can say what they want, but it's not gonna discourage me. They're better off just riding the bandwagon and supporting.
Curious to know, actually, do you happen to speak any Japanese, or is that
No.
no Japanese?
So eventually, I want to learn. I don't like being in someone's country and not being able to communicate. And when I go out and I like see people assume everyone speaks English, it kind of gets on my nerves. So I don't want to be one of those people. So currently I'm, just walking around with like Google Translate open if I really need to speak to somebody, and just typing what I want to say on Google Translate and pressing the speaker. But eventually I want to take like an intro to Japanese college class they offer out here.
Oh,
To
cool.
just, yeah.
I'm curious.
Just,
I'm sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
no, you're good. You're good.
I was gonna say, there have been, there's a few other fighters that are from other bases in Japan. I'm curious to know, I don't know, is there any any rivalries between the bases, like between the Okinawa and the Yokosuka base and maybe other bases? Is there any sort of like I don't know, friendly rivalries between all the different service bases?
Um, Not that I know of. They're all pretty friendly. Like when I came back from leave, I had like 1 or 2 days to spend in Yokota, and I met a MMA fighter, and he fought a weight class above me, and we got along. You know,
Is
he's
this
cool as
Saint?
fuck.
Would it have to be Saint that you met? The very
No,
heavy guy?
no.
Okay.
I think his name was like Gravedigger. Um, I forgot what organization he fought for, but he's coming off a heel hook injury, and
Okay.
you know, we were hanging, chilling, you know, just training, do a little MMA sparring after. He's cool as fuck. It's not like, and he was a different branch. We weren't even the same branch, so it's not like, you know, you get that rivalry. It was, you know, just
Hmm.
friendly, just good vibes.
I'm curious to know as well. So since I mean, uh, you've done wrestling, you've done grappling tournaments. I'm assuming, is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, you've done
yeah,
that. So the vibe, the atmosphere is so different. You're going to be in front of probably five-digit thousand people there, whatever number that is. It could be
yeah.
any 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 people. Do you feel like that the audience may be wanting you to lose because you're the foreigner? Do you feel there's any sort of that there, or do you think that they, you know, I don't know. Do you feel like do you feel like you're coming in as a foreigner to lose?
Um, I mean, I feel like a certain select few, and anywhere you go, there's always going to be that mindset and that mentality is like, oh, this foreigner, you know, I hope he loses. I want the home guy to win, but that's only a select few. I also believe there's people there that are like interested, like, this is this guy's MMA debut. How good is he? What does he have
Hmm.
to prove? What's he going to bring to the table? And then, you know, there's just the people that don't give a shit and just want to get hammered and watch two guys beat the fucking brakes off each other. Um, you know, and then shit, there's going to be the guys that probably don't like this guy and want me to win. So I feel like there's like going to be, you know, more than four different crowds of people there trying to anticipate what's going to happen at the end of the night. At the end of the day, I don't care. I am a little nerve nervous to see how I'm affected by like being in a room where 5,000 people are staring at me. I've never experienced that. So I'm hoping it gives me like, I don't know, extra energy to do what I need to go there and do. I hope I don't get uh, like shocked, you know,
Hmm.
and just like stage fright or frozen. Um, I know one thing though is when I win and I see all those people there, it's going to be a life-changing experience. You know, I hear it's the best feeling in the world. I've yet to experience it yet, so
Hmm. Also, I've heard
that's
that the thing that people enjoy most when they win is that they get to sit on the very comfy Yogibo chair that sponsors all the Rizin shows. That's what I hear is that they
really
yes, this chair company. It's like a beanbag chair. Whenever you
okay.
win, the winner sits in the middle of the ring and they sit on it. And also I think in the press room and the media room as well, they sit on it. They say it's like the most comfy chair to like sit on, like right after like 3 rounds or a brutal like back and forth. So if you can't, if there's any reason to win, it's to get to sit on a comfy ass beanbag chair.
I've been looking to buy fucking beat bags since I've been out here, so that would be yeah. I'm actually looking forward to that. I'm trying to buy a bus out here and just put bean bags in the back. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm gonna do a little R&D and see if that's gonna be the chair that I get.
So the last question I have for you is, well, actually two last questions. Before you go, do you have anything you want to plug? I don't know if you got sponsors or you want to plug your coaches or your gym, anybody, social media if you want to.
Yeah.
Floor is yours.
So yeah, so I got shout out my coach, Gilbert Villa. He got me the fight. You know, so we're gonna put in the work, win the fight. Shout out. I know he got a sponsor, Tequila Bar Okinawa. Shout out to them, hooking me up. Happy Bulls. Uh, it's all the sponsors I know of right now. He might have a few other ones in there that I'm not tracking on because I don't think he knew I took this interview. But check Matt Okinawa, Professor Elton. They're you know, keeping me on my shit, make sure I don't explode my knee during this fight. Shout out to them. Shout out to Babalu's gym back home for giving me a solid foundation. And yeah, hopefully these are all the names that I remember, after I win, so I don't forget anyone. Not have to add anyone else. But.
And the last question I have before you go is, if there's anything you want to, if you were in the room with your opponent, and this will happen during the weigh-ins, but beforehand, if there's anything you would like to say to your opponent, if he was in the room with you, or if he was listening to this audio, positive or negative, the floor is yours.
Oh, I want to thank him for giving me the opportunity to share the cage with him. It takes two to tango. Without him, I wouldn't be able to have this opportunity to express myself in the cage. So I give him a thank you before, after. That's all I can do. Yeah, we're fighting, but talking shit it's not gonna fucking do anything. It just makes you look like an asshole. And I'm an asshole normally, so I don't need to look like an asshole on TV and shit. So yeah, I'm just gonna thank him.
No Conor McGregor
No.
type shit that you want to say, or Colby Covington or anything. You can keep it respectful.
Yeah, that's at the end of the day, like, that's how it should be done. Granted, like, if someone comes at me sideways, I'm gonna come back, but I haven't heard anything negative from the guy. He seems like a solid guy. I shouldn't have anything negative to say about him. It's not like shit. When we get to the big leagues, like, yeah, you can play psychological warfare and shit and try to make the other person crack, and just start fucking with them. But nah, this man is giving me my pro debut. I'm not going to say anything negative to him or about him.
Yeah, no, he hasn't said anything negative from the press conference that I saw and the translations I provided. So yeah, he's keeping respectful as well. Just be careful though. He did break somebody's ankle once in a fight doing a heel hook.
Straight ankle lock.
He tried to do he did a heel hook, and the other guys, I guess it was on really tight, and yeah, just that happened.
If he did a heel hook, then he broke the guy's knee.
Something snapped. Something snapped. I heard something snapped.
Yeah, heel hooks. I've been seeing that a lot out here. I've noticed these guys are jumping heel hooks, running heel hooks a lot. I'm not a fan. I've been practicing them for a while, just because the Renzo Gracie guys out of New York changed the whole no-gi scene with them. So it's like, if you weren't practicing them, you were getting behind. But I'm not gonna try to do a heel hook.
No, not when you could soccer kick somebody in the face. That is probably the
exactly
last thing you want to do.
Heel hook works in a grappling match, but I have long ass legs too. So if someone's trying to heel hook me, I fucking axe kick them. And the best defense to any submission is a fucking sock to the face as they're trying to lock it up.
Oh yeah. So yeah, no, yeah. I'm hoping that he's aware of that if he tries, any of his submission maneuvers, you can give the indoor special. I think you called it. That's what you called the indoor special to him.
Special, dude. Yeah, shout out to Sean for that one, dude.
Hey, you know what? If you win by that way, and if they give you the microphone, you need to mention that's your finishing move, or whatever, and give a shout out to the buddy who did that.
Yeah, if I win by soccer kick, once I collect myself and gather my shit, I'll definitely make a sport out of it, because that'll be surreal, to say the least.
And you can see Tanner Louernco make his MMA pro debut at Rizin 32, November 20th at the Okinawa Arena, and it'll be available on Live Now with English commentary. And I'm excited to see your debut. Listen, the great thing about a debut is you never know how the person's going to fight. So I'm really curious to see how you're going to fight. I'm excited. It's great to see a potential a new person in the sport. So we're looking forward to your fight, Tanner. And yeah, maybe hopefully it goes your way by indoor special or however way you want, or whatever special way that you want to end the fight.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me, Andrew. I'm gonna go out and put on a show for everybody, and hope you guys enjoy it. Try not to keep it boring.
And yeah, thank you. We look forward to the fight.
Yeah, of course.